back. It's November 19th, NaNoWriMo Day 19. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
Good. How was the weekend?
Tough.
Tough.
Yeah. Kind of ran out of, not plot. We talked about it earlier. I didn't run out of plot necessarily, but I have to start answering a lot of questions. I'm at 31,000 words, so I have to kind of get things going, and the rules of time travel are starting to wear on me a little bit.
Sometimes it's kind of nice at the beginning because you can say whatever you want. You don't have to account for it at first, and then towards the end, you kind of have to start wrapping things up. I think that's why fiction can be harder to write than nonfiction, because in real life things just don't add up. A lot of times, I think you're like, well, why? But you don't have to say why it doesn't add up, because that's just how it happens. But in fiction, you have to talk about why it does add up, and
because you have the opportunity to package everyking and tie it off with a nice little
people
bow.
expect things to be tied up with a nice little bow.
I feel like I have to answer the questions that readers might ask. Like, well, why don't you just go back in time and kill her? And I'm like, well, you can't do that. I would have my book at 32,000 words. That won't work. So
I think you could just have like notes from the author at the back of the book. Why? Because I didn't want to end at 30,000 words.
I have worked things out a little bit. I think it's fine, but it was Saturday was a little rough, and then I was trying to catch up yesterday. So all caught up. Everything's fine.
So are you just like at the word count, or are you ahead at all? Because you've been like a day and a half ahead.
Yeah, I will be. By the end of today, I'll be fine. I'll be at probably going halfway to tomorrow's goal.
That's good.
Which is what I've been at mostly.
How are you doing, Emily?
I'm doing excellently. I've finally gotten into it. I've finally gotten to a point where when I sit down, I know what I want to say, and then other stuff comes up, so that's just more words, and I actually have to tell myself to stop writing. It was about 12:30 last night that I was writing still, and I was like, I think I just need to stop. I just found a place, and I stopped because I still have more I wanted to say, but I need to save some of that for today because I'm feeling by the end of this week I'm going to be kind of out of things that I want to say, so I've got to pace myself a little
ride the
more.
wave while you got it.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm doing really good. I was sick on Saturday, so I didn't write as much as I wanted to, but I set a pretty large goal for myself, so I think I overcompensated yesterday because I wrote much more than I thought I would. So I'm good. I'm definitely in good shape going into Thanksgiving. So
yeah, that's going to be the tough one for us, I think. We've got Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday, and
big football weekend.
Got a lot going on. It's really tough. I remember last year going downstairs. My family was like, "What are you doing?" I went downstairs and I wrote 1,700 words because I wanted to hit the minimum. Because if I couldn't do it that day, I just knew that things were going to rapidly deteriorate. So
and with November ending on a Friday this year, we don't have that last weekend to kind of catch up and finish off. So I think I'm going to try to get as much done as I can this coming up weekend for the final big push.
Yeah.
So.
I wish I had one day to just not have to work or do anything. Have my kid at daycare and my wife at work, and I could stay home and write and do a good 8 hours. I feel like I could finish.
See, my whole thing is ideally that would be the case, but for me, I know that I work better under pressure, and so that's why, for instance, yesterday my one goal was to write as many words as possible yesterday, and I did write a lot, but I didn't write as much as I could have because I found myself getting distracted by things because I still had, it's only 5 o'clock. Oh, it's only 6 o'clock. I still have time. And I would write for a while, and then I'd take a break, and, I'd get back into it. So as much as I enjoyed writing and as much as I enjoyed what was going on and I could write once I found myself getting more distracted because I had all this time that I could work with, as opposed to, tonight where I literally have a window of about 2 hours. And that'll be me staying up till, midnight, where I'm going to be able to actually sit down and write. So.
Yep, gotta wait for Heroes to end, and then I can write from 10 to whatever.
Oh, I probably won't even get to see Heroes tonight. I'll probably watch it. I don't know.
Thank God for TiVo. My life is much easier this year because we have TiVo.
Yeah, and with the writer's strike, honestly, I'm not quite as worried about getting my shows watched right on time because I'm like, well, it'll be kind of something nice to watch in December when everything's in reruns. I'll have this stuff on my TiVo. So.
Well, actually, I have been writing earlier in the night and then just watching TV afterwards. So, I'll write from maybe 8 to 9:30 and then start Heroes late.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think the biggest obstacles are going to be for you for the rest of No. Obviously, Mike needs some plot points.
Well, I need to decide how I want to end it. And I think I know how I want to end it. I need to make sure that it makes sense. And I want to try to tie everybody that I introduced in the beginning that's kind of been out of it for 6 chapters while he's been flitting around time back in. So I think I'm on the path to doing that. But like right now, my page is at, what's the plan? And I ended because I'm like, well, I got to get back to this later because I don't know exactly what the plan is. So that's what I have to work on tonight. But I feel like 19,000 words isn't that much. I've already done that and over, so I know I can do it again. It's just a matter of how I'm going to wrap it all up.
Yeah, from last year, my memory is that at this point, the question isn't whether I can write 18,000 more words. That's not the issue. It's, am I going to be able to do it and have the second half fit the first half? Because the first half, I've got it so open-ended. I feel like it's this big just thing that I'm kind of now trying to narrow down into this little bit of space and kind of wrap everything up nicely. And as the fact of the matter is I don't really have a concrete ending right now. I feel like I kind of know what I want to happen, but I'm not sure. And so how do I, not really knowing where I'm ending, get to a place where, it all makes sense and it all corresponds?
I think when I go back and read my book, I'll realize that the beginning of the book moves so slowly because I just wanted to add to the word count and my descriptions are, out of control. And then as you start running out of words, which, seems like an unlikely, when you start off, you never think, oh, I'm going to have trouble fitting everything in I need to say. But now that I've only got, 20,000 words left, there's a lot that needs to happen before I reach the end of the book. And so I feel like now my scenes are getting shorter and there's no description anymore and I'm just trying to hammer out these major plot points. So.
Yeah, I have all these big, long internal monologues in the beginning, like about how, da-da-da, this and that, and how, an entire page on something where there's not a single conversation. And then now I'm at the end and I'm doing, or not at the end, but in the middle, and I've got lots and lots of conversations and not as many of those, which is nice because honestly, if I can get over that 50,000 words, then that means I can go back eventually and kind of edit out some of that beginning stuff that's, like you said, kind of slow moving and descriptive and boring.
I definitely feel though, and you guys might agree that this is the downward slope. Like we're picking up speed. We're heading down towards the end.
We got a thing from Neil Gaiman today. He emails. We have like a NaNoWriMo pep talk email, and he said basically this is the hardest part, and then we are going to hit a point where it just rolls really fast, and the words will come exploding out again like they did at the beginning. So I'm really looking forward to that. I really want that to happen.
Any suggestions
today,
on how
tomorrow?
Mike can kill off his serial killer?
No. I'm thinking sequels. I want her to live, I think.
The thing is, though, Mike, it happens to everybody. From everything I've read, is you have to hit it. Whether it happens to you in week 2 or week 3, whatever, it does happen. And once you figure out how, it's really just like the key to like one little thing. And once you figure out what that is, you're not going to be able to stop. You're just going to be going off. So,
it's probably already in your book somewhere.
Probably.
And when it hits you, you're going, oh, it's perfect.
Of course.
I just need that hour to meditate on it and think about it.
Yeah. So. I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm kind of sad a little bit, only because, and here's the reason why, because I feel like the first half isn't going to be as good as the second half.
But I don't think it ever is. I think that's...
See, I wonder if my first half's better than my second half. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it always, I think things always get better.
I also think that, I'll be done with this and I'll get it published and whatever. It is what it is. But I think if I was ever to take this again and try to make it better, the second draft would be entirely different. The focus would completely shift. Because I think I focused on the wrong characters. It's not a bad book, but it's not the best book.
But that's what's so great about this is that you get a chance to really get into the whole novel writing habit. I think the fact that we've written every day or nearly every day, in my case, for a month and produce that kind of stuff and produce a pretty cohesive story. Even if it's not completely matching up and whatever, it's still pretty cohesive, and that's a lot more than a lot of people can say.
And as someone who is using the same characters that I used last year, so you could kind of call our books sequels, I guess.
Yeah, I would say
I like the sequel. I think if you were to do it again next year, you would have a lot of success.
Yeah. Well, I
picking up the
definitely
same
think I'm going to
characters.
keep writing after this, different stories and whatever. I think I'm going to go back and start writing short stories, which I did a lot of in high school and college, and so I think I'm back into author mode, whereas, so.
All right, well, we're out of time. Thanks for joining us. See you again probably Friday.
Don't stop believing.